Here we go then, it's that time. It's time to do the official predictions for Euro 2024. Who's getting out the groups, who are the four third place best placed teams, and who's going to go all the way to lift the trophy. Can Italy hold on to their title, or we have a new winner in Euro 2024? Find it all out next. If you enjoy the video, smash the like button and subscribe as always, and let me know in the comment section down below your winner of the competition, top goal scorer of the competition, and your dark horses, a team that you think will do well and no one else is really mentioning in this year's competition. We're going to begin in Group A, and it's of course made up of Germany, Switzerland, Hungary and Scotland this year. So four very strong teams, but Germany being the hosts, they probably are the favourites to win this group, and I am going to back Germany to win the group. The likes of course, Florian Wirtz, Kimmich in there as well, Neuer, Musiala's had a good season at Bayern Munich, of course, Gundogan, Havertz, Müller, ter Stegen as well, the three-time Euro winners, Germany. I can see them topping the group in style and going through to the knockout rounds. In second place, I've gone for Switzerland. Now, this is really close between Switzerland, Scotland and Hungary. I feel like all sides have a point to prove and can make it into that second spot, but I have gone for Switzerland. The likes of Granit Xhaka really has upped his game recently, and he's just won the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, of course. The likes of Elvedi, Akanji and Fabian Schär at the back for Switzerland as well. That's a solid defence. Recently, for the national team, they haven't been that good of a defensive unit, but of course, in a tournament like this, one-off games, each one of them seem like their own final. They can definitely turn up on three quality players there. Also the likes of course, Freuler, Shaqiri on the right, Amdouni as well. So it's exciting Euros for Switzerland. Of course, they're off the back of their best ever Euro finish, going to the quarterfinal stage last year, and we're only a few penalties away from reaching the semi-finals. I think Switzerland go through automatically with Germany, which leaves us to Hungary and Scotland. Who's going to get in third? And of course, third place is a huge place because you still have a chance of getting through to the knockout rounds if you collect enough points. All you need is two sides in other groups who finished in third place to get less points than you, or at least have a better goal difference than them sides, of course. So for me, it's a really tricky decision to make, because I can see Hungary and Scotland with some quality individuals in their teams. But for third place, I'm just going to go for Scotland. The Tartan Army, of course, incredible fans. They're unreal, absolutely unreal. I remember Euro 2020, they were fantastic as well. So for me, Scotland will get third place. The likes of course, Andy Robertson, John McGinn just had a fantastic season at Aston Villa. McTominay in there as well, Lawrence Shankland up top as well, Christie, Billy Gilmore as well. It's very exciting for Scotland, and this is their fourth ever Euros, so they've never made out the groups before. Will they be able to make it out the groups this year? Be very interesting, be very close. It's not an easy group to get out of, but I think they have a chance for sure. Meaning bottom of the group, I've gone for Hungary. It's not an easy decision. It's a really tricky group, and I do like Hungary. Likes of course, Szoboszlai, the Liverpool midfielder's quality, and not afraid, of course, to have a shot at goal. The goalkeeper, I have no idea how to say his name. We'll go for Gulaxi. He's a solid choice, of course. And then the likes of Kirkes of Bournemouth, Styles as well in there. And in qualifiers for the Euros, they were undefeated. I do feel quite bad putting them fourth, but it's a tricky group, and I'm all here for them to prove me wrong. Let's move over to Group B, and of course, this group is made up of Albania, Croatia, Italy and Spain. Topping the group, I've gone for Spain. They're very exciting at the moment. And of course, the likes of Unai Simon and David Raya, the two goalkeepers out of the three, but them two in particular, really solid. And it's interesting to see who Spain actually go with for the Euros for their number one. David Raya's had a great season at Arsenal, but Unai Simon, of course, quality goalkeeper as well. Also likes of Pedri in midfield, a great upcoming talent who is so good already. It's scary. Ozzy Perez, of course, also in that team, along with Ferran Torres and the captain Alvaro Morata. Of course, Spain, the 3 times winners of the Euros. Can they make it 4 this year? It's an exciting squad, a lot of quality players in that team as well. how far were they able to go? For me, they're top in this group in first. Second place then, it's really tricky. I'm between Italy and Croatia, but I'm just going to go for Italy. I've got to put a bit of respect on their name, having won the Euros last time out. Of course, this time, no, it's very changed squad. No Spinazzola, no Chiellini, no Bonucci, and no Insigne as well, which is quite a change as well. I'm not too sure in the midfield. Is Barella being called up or not? I'm not 100% sure, but they have got some other star players without all of them being involved. Of course, the likes of Donnarumma in goal is one of the best in the world. Then you've got Vicario as a backup, and how good he's been at Spurs this season. It's scary to think he's only a backup at Italy. It's scary to think how good Donnarumma actually is when you think about it like that. Darmian, of course, is in there as well. Mancini, Jorginho, and going forward, Chiesa looks like he might have to be the main threat this year for Italy. Otherwise, I can't really see where many of the goals are going to come from. Of course, you've got Scamacca up top as well. I just don't think he does it for me. I think Chiesa is going to be the main goal output for Italy in this year's Euros, and it will be a big part of them getting second place in Group B. Third place then, I did say second was between Italy and Croatia, and third place for me will be Croatia. Of course, Albania in there to give it a shout as well, but I'm just going to go for Croatia. And in the Euros, they have a bit of a funny record. They've never won a knockout game in the Euros, and considering how good they are in, of course, the World Cup, it's very confusing how that happens. But Croatia, to list a few of the names, of course, Livakovic in goal, quality keeper. Sosa at the back. You've got the likes of Kovacic and Perisic in midfield before going, further forwards. You've got Kramaric, Petrovic, Meyer, and you're also looking at the back, the likes of Gvardiol, Brozovic as well in there. You'll notice, which is crazy talent as well. And never got past the round of 16 stage. That's their best ever finish in the Euros. Can they improve on it this year? Finishing third in the group. It's a struggle to see where they're going to get enough points from. You think maybe a draw against one of the top two and a win against Albania probably sees them through. But if they can't get anything against Spain or Italy, and it's only the 3 points against Albania, it's struggling then to see if there's going to be two other sides in all of the groups, in the 6 groups, who will get less than 3 points. But for Croatia, I've got them finishing there. Which means bottom of Group B, I've gone for Albania. Of course, Broha, the Chelsea striker, the main player for them up top, and really the only one I know of, without being too disrespectful there. This is second ever Euros for Albania, so they'll be hoping to make a statement, but it's one of the hardest groups in this year's competition, and I can see for that reason them finishing bottom of the group. Moving on to Group C then, the 4 teams that make up this group are, of course, Slovenia, Serbia, England, and Denmark, of course. And top in this group for me is going to be England. You probably would expect that one. And I'm going for the Three Lions. Of course, it's a quality side, but I do have a few questions to ask about the defensive line. Pickford's great. Walker's great. Stones. But as soon as you start to look at the left-back position, the other centre-back position, is it as good as some other countries that, are expected to do really well in this competition? The likes of Germany, is it as good as their defence? Is it good as France's defence? Spain as well. It's the questions like that start to get asked. But going forward, some great players for England. Declan Rice, of course, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Palmer, Kane, Trent, Eze, Watkins. The quality is there going forward and in midfield. It's just defensively where, you have to ask a few questions. But if the likes of, Ezri Konsa, Joe Gomez, Mark Geehee can step up and fill in those roles, Luke Shaw as well for left back, or Kieran Trippier, whoever Southgate prefers in that spot, they have to step up and, have a tournament of their life if England are really going to be solid as a unit. For me, though, they're going to win this group. Last year's runner-up of the Euros, can they go one step further in this year? Be very interesting to see, but for me, they top Group C. Second place, then, we've got the likes of Slovenia, Denmark and Serbia to compete for this spot. But I am going to go, maybe a shock to some of you, I've gone for Serbia for this spot. The likes of Serge Milinkovic-Savic in there. Of course, you've got Dusan Tadic, Vlahovic, Mitrovic as well, Lukic, Jovic and Kostic in that Serbian side. There's quality in there. Mitrovic, of course, netted 5 goals in qualifying for Serbia. He's on form and a great player as well. So for Serbia, I do think they'll do it. I think they'll beat Slovenia, and I think they'll beat Denmark as well and get a draw against England or something like that, and England top the group on goal difference. I don't think England will get maximum points in this group, but I think Serbia will surprise a few people and get second place in this year's Group C. Third place then is between Slovenia and Denmark, and I'm just going to go for Denmark. It is a great team when you look at it. The likes of Eriksson, Kasper Schmeichel between the sticks, Rasmus Højlund, Emil Højbjerg in midfield, and Joachim Andersen at the back for Crystal Palace has been solid this season. Of course, the 1992 Euro winners, Denmark. They've got a big chance to get out of this group. I think they'll do it in third. I think they will be one of my teams to go through. So in Group C, Denmark finishing third. And bottom of Group C, then there's only one spot left, and that will be for Slovenia. It's been 24 years since their last Euro campaign, and I think the likes of Jan Oblak, Sesko, of course, has been linked with a few big clubs, the likes of Arsenal this summer already. Ilicic and Sporar as well, some names for Slovenia, but 24-year wait. They've not got an easy group to get through. It's possible they could finish third, but I just can't see it. I think if they're gonna, really get through, they gotta rely on the likes of Oblak and Sesko to get them, the goods. They have to be on top form if they're going to get out of this group. But for me, I can't see it. Slovenia to finish fourth in Group C. Moving on to Group D then. Of course, this group's made up of Austria, Poland, France and the Netherlands. So already you look at that and it's a strong group. For me, top in this group, be no surprise to you all, I've gone for France and a lot of people's tournament's favourites this year. France, the likes of course, Mbappe and Griezmann, you don't really have to look much further than them going forwards. But they've also got some quality behind them. The likes of Kante, Giroud will have his final Euro campaign. Saliba at the back, and probably doesn't even start for France, they're that good. Camavinga and Tchouameni as well. France do hold the record for the most goals scored in one Euro tournament, that being 14. I got a feeling they'll break it this year as a side prediction, and I also feel like they'll win this group with ease. Group D belongs to France. Second place then, Poland, Austria and the Netherlands to compete for this one, and I'm going to go for the Netherlands. The squad is really strong. Frankie de Jong, of course, Gakpo, Dumfries, Simons, the likes of Ake, Van der Ven, Virgil van Dijk in there, Marlon, Depay, Weghorst, Frimpong, who's just won the Bundesliga, of course. The 1988 winners, Netherlands, I think will come up second in this group, going through to the knockout rounds and see where that takes them. For me, Netherlands to finish second. Third place then is between Austria and Poland, and while Poland have a few decent players, I'm going to go for Austria. They look more complete. The likes of, I'm not going to be able to say this name, Gregor Stech, maybe I've done that well, Andreas Weimann and Arnautovic. Last Euros they made the round of 16. Maybe they can do it again this year. Finishing third place gives them a chance, of course, and I think they will finish third place. That means bottom of the group, I've gone for Poland. I don't think Szczesny, Lewandowski, Kyria or Zielinski will be able to put up that much of a fight in this group. I can't see them getting anything against France or the Netherlands. The only hope is against Austria. That's a massive game, but I do see them losing that one and Poland finishing bottom of the group. Maybe with 1 point, maybe with 0. I feel like it'll be a disappointing tournament for Poland this time round. Although, of course, looking back on their Euro history, they reached the quarter-final stage back in 2016. Off to Group E then. This group is made up of Romania, Slovakia, Belgium and Ukraine. And topping the group for me, I've gone for Belgium. Some really good players in there. I feel like we say it every tournament for Belgium. You look at the likes of Meunier, Onana, Wout Faes, of course, Kevin De Bruyne, Openda, Axel Witsel, Trossard, Doku, Lukaku as well. Belgium, who finished second place in the 1980 Euros, have a good chance of a squad like this. Of course, it is aging, which makes you think, they've got to, probably get it done now if they're going to do the business in a major competition sooner rather than later. But for me, I feel that they'll win this group. Some quality players in there. and see where it takes them into the knockouts. Second place then is between Ukraine, Romania and Slovakia. I've got to go for Ukraine. Really have impressed me in qualifying as well. They're doing really well. And some names, of course, we've got the likes of Dovbek, Mikhailenko, Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, Duvkov, Subdakov, Lunin, Zabrini and Luka Modric, of course. Ukraine, last Euros, reached the quarter-final stage. They'll be hoping to maybe get that far as well this year. But for me, I feel like they'll be getting through at least to the round of 16, finishing second place in Group E. Third place then, we've got either Slovakia or Romania finished there. And I'm just going to go for Romania. The likes of Dragustin, Hagi, Puskas and Koman in that squad for Romania. The furthest they've ever gone in the Euros was the quarterfinal stage back in 2000, and I think they'll have a chance of making it out the group this year, finishing third. Where will the points come from? Maybe they can beat Slovakia and maybe a point against Ukraine. That would be, a tricky ask though for Romania. So for me, they'll make it third. They'll have a chance of going through. Whether they will or will not, we'll discuss in a moment. But third place Romania, I think they'll definitely take that. Bottom of Group E then, I've gone for Slovakia. They have got some decent players in the likes of Marek Rodak and Dubravka to fight for that #1 spot between the sticks. Before looking at Skriniar, Suslov. This is Slovakia's third Euros in a row, and in qualifying they won 7 out of 10 games. So going into this on some strong form and potentially could be a dark horse to get out the group this year for Slovakia. For me though, it's a tough group to be honest, and I can see them finishing bottom. And the final group to predict then, before we get into the knockout stages, is Group F. This group consists of Turkey, Czechia, Georgia and Portugal. Let's get predicting it. So top in the group, I don't think it'll come to any surprise of you. I think Roberto Martinez and Portugal will finish top of this group. Of course, this team, we could go through all 11 players. Jose Sá, Cancelo, Diaz, Silva, Dalot, Palhinha, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Rafael Leao, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, Jota, Goncalves, Ramos as well in there. The 2016 winners look very strong 8 years on still. And of course, Ronaldo making more history with appearing in yet another European Championships as well, which is great for him, of course. And will be needing to deliver this year, Portugal. Such a strong squad, some really good players in there as well. And for me, they'll win the group. They've been scoring quite a lot of goals in qualifying. I think they scored the most out of any side that has qualified for the Euros. See if they can do that now in the major competition. Second place, we've got the likes of Georgia, Czechia and Turkey competing for this spot. I have gone though for Turkey. I feel like the likes of Kabak, Yilmaz and Umar will get them through in second place this year. The 2008 semi-finalists do look strong, and quite a few people now have been talking about Turkey to do well in the major competition for quite a long time. I think they get out of this group in second place. Third place then, still a chance to get out the group, is between Czechia and Georgia. It's Georgia's first ever Euro campaign. Well, Czechia, of course, won the competition back in 1976. What's going to give here? I have just gone for Czechia to make it into third. And Georgia, I'd love for them to get through, but we'll talk about them in just a second. Third place, Czechia, to name some of their players. Of course, the West Ham duo, Soufal and Soucek in there, as well as Patrick Schick, who was great in the last Euros. As I say, Czechia won the competition back in 1976. I don't think they'll go that far this year, but I think they'll have a shot at getting out of this group. And bottom of the group then, I've gone for Georgia, but I feel like they'll put up a fight. In between the sticks, pardon my pronunciation here, Mamardashvili, the Valencia goalkeeper. I think he's a solid pick between the posts. Of course, Georgia make it to the Euros, having won the playoff final in qualifying, and it's really exciting for Georgia. I really hope they don't go out the group. If they were to finish fourth, I hope they at least get maybe a win, maybe somewhere along the line, but it's a tricky ask, isn't it? So fingers crossed for Georgia. I hope they prove me wrong and somehow qualify. That'll be a great story, but for me, they'll finish fourth. So out of these 6 groups then, we've got to pick 4 of the teams to make it through, and for me, I've had a little look at the squads, I've had a look at the groups, and realistically, who will make through? I think Scotland will make it out of the group at the Euro campaign for the first ever time. I've gone for Croatia in Group B to make it out, along with Italy and Spain. I've gone for Denmark to make it out of Group C with Serbia and England. And final spot, I've gone for Czechia to make it out of Group F. So Romania and Austria, the third place teams, missing out. They really have got tricky groups, and I can't see them making up enough points to get out the groups. So round of 16 looks like that. We've got Spain versus Scotland, Germany versus Serbia, Portugal, Denmark, Netherlands, Ukraine, Belgium, Croatia, France, Turkey, and England, Czechia, and of course Switzerland versus Italy. Spain v Scotland then, I feel that would be a really interesting game. I've just gone for Spain though to get through to the quarterfinal stage. I feel like they have a bit too much for Scotland. Next game we'll have Germany versus Serbia, and although I think Serbia will do well this year, the host Germany, I can't not back against them in this one. So I think Germany will make it through in this game to play Spain in the quarterfinals. Portugal versus Denmark's an interesting game, but of course Portugal scoring goals are fun under Roberto Martinez. I think they'll beat Denmark in this one. Netherlands versus Ukraine is a really tricky game, this one, because I can see Ukraine putting up a shock if this game was to happen in real life. But something's just telling me Netherlands will just about get the job done in this one. Belgium versus Croatia. Croatia looking to win their first ever knockout game in a Euro campaign. I don't think that will end here against Belgium. I think Belgium, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Doku in there as well, Trossard. I feel like they have a bit too much for Croatia and make it through to the quarterfinal stage. France versus Turkey. I think this is quite straightforward. I think France will progress to the quarterfinal stage. England versus Czechia is a game which could put up a shock in this one. I don't think it'll be straightforward if this was to happen. England, of course, you know they will be the favourites in this game, and of course one of the favourites to win the whole competition. But in this one, Czechia have got a stronger squad, the likes of Patrick Schick, of course, in there with Souček and Coufal. In this one, I can just about see England getting through. It won't be easy in this one, though. And then Switzerland versus Italy is an interesting game. And, you know, whoever turns up in this one will get through. Italy, they're not the Italy like they were 3 years ago when they won the Euros. And Switzerland still with a very good squad. I've just gone for Italy to make it through in this game, though. So the quarterfinals would look like this if this was to happen up to this point. I've got Spain, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, France, and England versus Italy. Let's begin with Spain versus Germany. Spain versus the hosts, and I have to back the hosts here to get through to the semi-final stage. I think they will as well. They've got such a great squad in there. Toni Kroos, of course, in that squad. The likes of Musiala, Wirtz as well, Havertz and Neuer between the sticks. I think that's a level above what Spain have got at the moment. So Germany to progress to the semi-final stage. Portugal versus the Netherlands is also a tough game, but we were 50-50 on getting Netherlands to this stage between them and Ukraine. And I think Portugal are one of the favourites this year. And I think Portugal advance through to the semi-final stage from this game. Belgium versus France, of course, a bit of a derby. They're two neighbours in Europe. And I've gone with France to progress here. Belgium, once again, quite disappointing, but you can't avoid France, who are one of the favourites this year, and such a strong squad. I think you'll have to take a really good team to beat them this year. But for me, France advance past Belgium. Then the final quarterfinal to predict is a repeat of last year's final, England versus Italy, where it went of course to penalties, where Italy won. In this one, though, I think England get revenge and progress to the semi-final stage. Semi-finals then would look like this: Germany versus Portugal and France versus England. Very, very tough to call at this point. Germany, Portugal, who makes it through? I'd go for Portugal. I feel like if anyone's going to beat Germany, it has to be a top side. I think even they'd probably beat, in the semi-finals, they probably would beat England. I don't think they'd beat France. I don't think they'd beat Portugal. So I've got Portugal knocking out Germany in their own, of course, Euros to reach the final. Portugal back in their place to play either France or England, a repeat of course, the World Cup. Was it a semi-final? I've got France going through. It's a tricky game. It was in the World Cup, when it ended 2-1 to France. But for me, I do think France is still too strong for England. We're looking at the squads, and I think defensively it's where the battle's won for France. They just have a bit more quality there. So the final then, for me, it will be a repeat of the 2016 final where Portugal beat France, of course, in extra time, that Eder goal. In 2024, 8 years later, I think it'll be the exact same Portugal versus France, this time though in Germany. And for me, taking home the trophy after 24 years, it'll be France. Of course, the squad's ridiculous, and I think for me, France will win the Euros this year. Let's do a bit of extra then. Let's go for the Golden Boot. I'll name 3 players. I think to win it will be Harry Kane. I've got England going to the semi-final stages of this year's competition. Second place, I think Mbappe's going to score quite a few in the group stage. Quite a good opportunity too against Austria and Poland, and even the Netherlands, really. And then the road to the final against Turkey and Belgium. I think it'll bang a few against them as well. And then England and Portugal in the final, of course. Some good games there for Mbappe to bag a few. And third, on my 1 to 3 Golden Boots, I think Ronaldo will help heavily Portugal get to the final. A lot of people think Ronaldo's not going to do as well this year. I think he will. I think he's just, you never lose that quality. And I think he's going to, still be banging them in at however old he is now, 37, 38, he's one of them. He's very old now, but still an incredible footballer. Player of the tournament then, it usually goes to the side that wins it, doesn't it? So I've got Mbappe, Saliba and Bruno Fernandes on that shortlist. So 2 French players and then a Portugal player in Bruno Fernandes. If this was to happen, I think Bruno Fernandes can be very important in this Portugal team, while I also think Saliba and Mbappe are going to be very important to France in this year's competition. And my wild card for Euro 2024, I've put 2 teams down for this one. I've gone for Serbia. Of course, I'm backing them to get second in Group C. And I've also gone for Ukraine, but I don't think Ukraine's that much of a wild card because I think they will probably get second in Group E. It's in the round of 16. I've got them to get knocked out by Netherlands. I can see Ukraine beating them then, and then they'd have to play Portugal by my calculations in the quarterfinals. So it's very tricky. As for Serbia, of course, if they made it to knockouts, they'd likely have Germany to play. It's a really tricky game. I probably can't see them beating them, but for me, them 2 are my wildcards. Well then guys, there are my predictions for Euro 2024. We got the group stages and we got the knockouts, and I've got France to win the whole thing. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on Euro 2024. Who have you guys got winning the competition? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe. I've got loads of Euro content coming on the channel, and do not miss out on all of that. I'll see you all in the next one very soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.